Leviticus chapter 11. And Yahweh speaks to Moses and to Aaron, saying to them, Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, This is the beast which you eat out of all the beasts which are on the earth. Any dividing a hoof, and cleaving the cleft of the hooves, bringing up the cud among the beasts, you eat it. Only this you do not eat, of those bringing up the cud, and of those dividing the hoof. The camel, though it is bringing up the cud, yet the hoof is not dividing, it is unclean to you. And the hyrax, though it is bringing up the cud, yet the hoof is not divided, it is unclean to you. And the hare, though it is bringing up the cud, yet the hoof has not divided, it is unclean to you. And the sow, though it is dividing the hoof, and cleaving the cleft of the hoof, yet it does not bring up the cud, it is unclean to you. You do not eat of their flesh, and you do not come against their carcass, they are unclean to you. This you eat of all which are in the waters. Anything that has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the brooks, them you eat. And anything that does not have fins and scales in the seas and in the brooks, of any teeming creature of the waters, and of any creature which lives, which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. Indeed, they are an abomination to you. You do not eat of their flesh, and you detest their carcass. Anything that does not have fins and scales in the waters, it is an abomination to you. And these you detest of the bird, they are not eaten, they are an abomination. The eagle, and the bearded vulture, and the osprey, and the kite, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, and the ostrich, and the nightjar, or male ostrich, and the seagull, and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl, and the cormorant, and the great owl, and the waterhen, and the pelican, and the Egyptian vulture, and the stork, the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat. Every teeming creature which is flying, which is going on 4 legs, it is an abomination to you. Only this you eat of any teeming thing which is flying, which is going on 4, which has legs above his feet, to move them on the earth. These of them you eat. The locust after this kind, and the bald locust after its kind, and the cricket after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. And every teeming thing which is flying, which has 4 feet, it is an abomination to you. And you are made unclean by these. Anyone who is coming against their carcass is unclean until the evening. And anyone who is lifting up of their carcass washes his garments, and has been unclean until the evening. Every beast which is dividing the hoof, and is not cloven-footed, and is not bringing up the cud, they are unclean to you. Anyone who is coming against them is unclean. And anything going on its 4 paws, among all the beasts which are going on 4, they are unclean to you. Anyone who is coming against their carcass is unclean until the evening, and he who is lifting up their carcass washes his garments, and has been unclean until the evening. They are unclean to you. And this is the unclean to you among the teeming things which are teeming on the earth, the weasel, and the meroid, and the tortoise after its kind, and the gecko, and the chameleon, and the lizard, and the snail, and the mole. These are the unclean to you among all which are teeming. Anyone who is coming against them in their death is unclean until the evening. And anything on which any one of them falls in their death is unclean. Of any vessel of wood, or garment, or skin, or sack, any vessel in which work is done is brought into water, and has been unclean until the evening. Then it has been clean. And any earthen vessel into the midst of which any one of them falls, all that is in the midst is unclean, and you break it. Of all the food which is eaten, that on which comes such water is unclean, and all drink which is drunk in any such vessel is unclean, and anything on which any of their carcass falls is unclean. Oven or double pots, it is broken down, they are unclean, indeed they are unclean to you. Only a fountain or pit, a collection of water is clean, but that which is coming against their carcass is unclean. And when any of their carcass falls on any sown seed which is sown, it is clean. And when water is put on the seed, and any of its carcass has fallen on it, it is unclean to you. And when any of the beasts which are for food for you dies, he who is coming against its carcass is unclean until the evening. And he who is eating of its carcass washes his garments, and has been unclean until the evening. and he who is lifting up its carcass washes his garments, and has been unclean until the evening. And every teeming thing which is teeming on the earth is an abomination. It is not eaten. Anything going on the belly, and any going on four, to every multiplier of feet, to every teeming thing which is teeming on the earth, you do not eat them, for they are an abomination. You do not make yourselves abominable with any teeming thing which is teeming, nor do you make yourselves unclean with them, so that you have been unclean with them. For I am your God, Yahweh, and you have sanctified yourselves, and you have been holy, for I am holy. And you do not defile your persons with any teeming thing which is creeping on the earth. For I am Yahweh, who am bringing you up out of the land of Egypt to become your God. And you have been holy, for I am holy. This is a law of the beast and of the bird, and of every living creature which is moving in the waters, and of every creature which is teeming on the earth, to make a separation between the unclean and the pure, and between the beast that is eaten and the beast that is not eaten.